Om Shruti Smriti Purananam Alayam Karunalayam Namami Bhagavat Padam Shankaram Loka Shankaram Shankaram Shankaracharyam Keshavam Badarayanam Sutra Bhashya Krutau Vande Bhagavantau Punah Punah Ishvaro Gururatmeti Murti Bheda Vibhagine Vyomavat Vyapta Dehaya Dakshinamurtaye Namaha Om Namah Pranavarthaya Shuddha-jnanaikamurtaye Nirmalaya Prashantaya Dakshinamurtaye Namaha Om Sahana Vavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavaditamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Upanishad Shabdena Vidya Uchyate. Brahmatma Vidya, Brahmatma Tattva Vidya is what is indicated by the word Upanishad. Theoretically speaking, many people should be interested in this because the subject matter of the Upanishad is Brahma Vidya, which is Vidya about yourself, knowledge about yourself. Even when I pronounce a sentence saying that this Vidya is about you, the image that forms in the mind is that this image, this Vidya is about this Sharira, this mind, these senses. That is the image that forms. It's so strongly entrenched that when I say I, that I is only confined to these. That is why you will find that if somebody organizes bhajan, yoga, or any of those activities, lots of people want to come. Because they see that there is a benefit to either the body or the mind which is visible. Whereas Upanishad is, as we explained, knowing the real, true, original self of the Sharira. So that, which seems to be so different from what I think I know, very difficult to absorb. So if you tell people you come to attend a mind program, at the end of which you'll feel good, your mind will feel calmer, they'll be very interested. But when you say, come and learn about your true self, not many are interested. And the surprising thing is, not surprising, it's a natural thing. From groups like the IIT, in which I've been a part for a while, there are no takers. They are supposed to be the people capable of sharply thinking. But there's very little interest. Because this Vidya This Vidya, indicated by the word Upanishad, which itself indicates the doer of something, by adding the quip pratyaya, the doer, the agent of action, is the Upanishad, but is also the Vidya. What does that do? And that is the way you need to understand the meaning of the dhatu as applicable here as gatyartha, visharana, and avasadhana. Modified by the two prefixes, upa and ni. So the Vishaya of the Upanishad is you, is Vidya. That when it tries to explain the Vishaya, you, Mr. Devadatta trying to understand, he thinks this is not about Mr. Devadatta. Mr. Devadatta is a limited being. This is not talking about me. We're talking about something else called Brahman. I can't even for the life of me see what this Brahman is because it says unknowable. Not accessible to any of the senses. Indriya Atitaha. That Upanishad, that Vidya, when somebody sits and listens and is looking for what it tells me about me, Mr. Devadatta, does not find it. We saw yesterday, it is not meant for them. They are not yet prepared for this. It is like trying to sit in on a program on artificial intelligence, generative artificial intelligence, not even knowing basic integral calculus. The office is not ready for it. So who is ready? The one who is a mumukshu. The one who has at different levels understood that what I am looking for is not going to be given to me by anything that I have been attempting so far. By any work that I do, any karma I do, is not going to give me what I'm looking for, even though I am totally unclear about what I'm looking for. But I do understand that there is something to know which will give me that, for which I need have commitment. It can be confusing and disconcerting in the beginning. But I know that if I keep at it, I will get it. How do I know? Because the same Shastra gives me an assurance that you will get it. Just stay focused. Also because in the last tens of thousands of years, so many people have studied this, so many people have gone through this, and I do trust that the Shastra has something to tell me which I only need to understand. So having done the Vakshartha, split the word into its component parts, Acharya goes into the meaning. We started this yesterday. Ye mumukshuvaha. What are the characteristics of a mumukshu? Either right immediately or soon thereafter, the mumukshu begins to understand that what I am seeking is not going to be available by doing. What I am seeking is not something which I can gain. There is no relationship between what I'm doing, what I'm trying, all the efforts I'm making, and this that I'm trying to seek. Therefore, what happens? That mumukshu gets a certain dispassion towards everything because he's because he's tried everything. In fact, he's because he's tried everything. He may have tried it in this janma, he may have tried in the previous janma, and gained all that the samsara has to offer, and yet not be satisfied. I was told this is knowledge from me, therefore I learned everything, like Narada Muni. When Narada Muni went to Sanat Kumara, this is all there in the Kathopanishad, which we'll do someday, and asked him, why am I subject to this sorrow? Sanat Kumara asked him, he said, please teach me what it is that I need to know. Sanat Kumara asked him, what do you know already? To which he replied, I know so many things, 64 different colors I know. And he rattled them off. Even at the end of all that, I still have the same problem. That is the issue. Because all of those things, while they give you something undoubtedly, they cannot give you what you're looking for. That when that clarity occurs first, then there is dispassion towards all this. I have tried, it has not worked. I've genuinely tried, I've examined it. So then what happens? Ye mumukshuha drishta anushravika vishaya vitrishnaha santaha. All the drishtapala that you can get. I've seen that that's not going to give me what I want. What I'm trying to do is to get into a state where I don't have this feeling that I'm subject to dukkha. Not that I have dukkha, but then I'm subject to dukkha, like Arjuna. And to get to that kind of state, I have tried everything. And all those things I tried, I found they had some doshas. For one thing, even though I gained something, I gained a modicum of comfort with the artha that I can gain, any form of artha. But it does not last. It goes away. I don't want it to go away. Every effort I made to gain kama, my wishes, my desires, either I gain the desired object, or I don't gain. There are only two possibilities. If I don't gain, I'm back at square one. And if I do gain, then what? Same problem. It lasts for a short time. I'm back to square one. Every artha, every kama. Artha means all things that I thought will give me security. And all kama means all that I thought will give me happiness, what I think I desire. The basic problem in all this is, I think I am insecure. I think I am subject to unhappiness. Therefore, I look for this and saying, will this give me the security, get rid of the insecure feeling? Shastra says, Upanishad says, listen, you are never insecure. You are the very basis of security, very basis of happiness, very swarupa of happiness. Therefore, you cannot get rid of something that doesn't exist. How are you going to get rid of insecurity when there is no insecurity? When it's an imagined insecurity. They say, no, you can wake up a person who is genuinely sleeping. How are you going to wake up somebody who is pretending to sleep? The same state we are all in. Same thing with dharma, which I hope, because I have trust in the Shastra, Shraddha in the Shastra, will get me to lokas, where these things are not there. As we saw, all those lokas have the same problem. It is temporary. The second problem I have with all these things that I gain from this is, anything that I can gain in the samsara is tinged with, not even tinged, in fact, completely as much dukkha as sukha that I can get from any activity, any kind of achievement. Always accompanied by dukkha. Dukkha in terms of the effort I make, dukkha in terms of the preserving the sukha that I've somehow gained, dukkha in terms of when I lose that sukha. Same problem continues. And again, there is a problem because it is atripti. While it does give me a certain modicum of sukha, I want more and more and more and more because there is no end to it. When that recognition comes, this mumukshavaha, these mumukshavaha, drishta anushravika vishaya vitrishna santaha. With this, the Acharya has defined the adhikari, one who has viveka vairagya. We have seen sadhana chatushtaya. You must be a mumukshu at whatever level. You must have viveka and vairagya, without which there is no possibility. Because you will keep running after these non-fulfilling things. And one must have the basic qualities required. Shramadamadi shakka sampattihi. Clearly, the two very key ones is our viveka, atma, anatma viveka. And the vairagya for all, anything that's anatma. So, drishta anushravika vishaya vitrishnaha santaha. Such a mumukshu, now we have covered In the previous paragraph, we covered what is the end result. He's not covered the end result yet. He's only talked about what is the Vishaya. Vishaya is Brahmatma Tattva Vidya. And he said, what is the relationship between this Grantha and the Phala, the result that I want? That result is to know the self, know Brahman. And that is the Vastu to be known, Vedya Vastu. And this is the means to that. This, with the help of a guru, is the means to that way, knowing the Vedya Vastu. So that Pratipadya Vedya Vishaya Sambandha. Now he is talking about for whom is it relevant? For the Mumukshu who is Vitrishna. That Mumukshu, for him, Upanishad Shabda Vachyam Vakshyamana Lakshanam Vidyam. This Vidya, which is indicated by the Upanishad. Upanishad Vachyam, Upanishad Shabda Vachyam Vakshyamana Lakshanam. That Vidyam, to seek that Vidya, to go to that Vidya, to gain that Vidya. All that is indicated by Upa. Upagamya, reaching to that knowledge, seeking that knowledge. So that knowledge, which has already been talked about, Brahma, Atma, Tattva Vidya, Vidyam, Upasadhya, seeking, knowing, reaching out to, meaning Upagamya. Use two words there, Upasadhya, Upagamya, to seek out. He's talking about the process, the sadhaka, sadhana. Upagamya, tannishtataya nishchayena. With commitment. Why is that commitment so important? Because this knowledge that is revealed by the Upanishad is so different from the knowledge that I think I already have. I have to undo a lot of things and relearn. And this undoing is not easy. It is not yesterday's or today's knowledge that I've gained about myself. It's knowledge that is so deeply embedded over many generations, many janmas, that I have to first at least put it aside, even if I don't discard it altogether, before new knowledge can be absorbed. Tannishtadaya nishchayena. That commitment, because doubts will be there. I know something, somebody else comes and tells me, no, look at it this way. If it was something marginally different from what I think I know, I can argue with that person, I can discuss with that person, I can use logic, and I say, okay, what I say is correct, or what you say is correct, or it is somewhere in between. But it's not a marginal difference. We are talking about something that is diametrically opposite. I think I am limited in every way. Upanishad is telling me, you are Purnaha. It is not an incremental change from what I know or what I think I know. Therefore, it will take a reasonably long time before this new knowledge can sink in. Some space has to be made in the buddhi. It's already filled with so much, which means all that knowledge that I have has to be at least kept aside, so that this knowledge that is available to us from the Upanishad has a space to occupy. Tannishtataya nishchayena शीलयन्ति तन्निष्ठतया निश्चयेन शीलयन्ति. To gain, to recognize, to know, and to stay with it. He'll also come to Stadhatu only. Tesham avidyadehe samsara bijasya. What is samsara? Samsara is nothing but the senses interacting with sense objects in the samsara, leading to a combination of sukha dukkha, sukha dukkha, sukha dukkha. That is samsara. What I want is to get rid of this and feel only sukha. Where does the samsara come from? What is the origin of this samsara which makes one miserable? What is the samsara? Where does it come from? What is the bija? What is the mula for the samsara? The mula for the samsara is avidya. Because I don't know. What is it that I don't know? I don't know myself. That avidya. Imagine somebody who is suddenly finds himself in the midst of a vast body of water. He is desperately moving his arms and legs to stay afloat. And what he can see across is many other heads bobbing up and down, also trying to stay afloat. And all he can think of doing is, can I do better than that fellow? Somehow, can I find a floating log which will give me respite from this? That fellow has a bottle of water. Where did he get it from? Can I take it away from him? And in the distance, I see one fellow sitting on top of a small atoll, relaxing. How can I get there? Desperate times, desperate measures, go and take anything from anybody which I think will give me some relief. That is samsara. I get flashes of small sukha. Rest is all effort. And dukkha. I see others going through the same thing. Some of them look like they have more sukha than I have. Some of them look like they have even less than I have, struggling even more. And some are sinking. And then suddenly, I realize there is no water. I'm standing on firm ground. What happened? I just was making a mistake. I thought I was in a huge body of water and I was struggling for every little thing, for a few drops of water, for something to eat, for some rest. And that was a false notion I had. I thought the 10th man was missing. Led to great deal of grief and concern. Till I recognized the 10th man is not missing. There is no missing 10th man. That I am the 10th man. There is no ocean. There is no struggle. There is no effort. There is no dukkha. That ajnanam, if I can remove that ajnanam, that is the samsara bija. That ajnanam leading me to make all those efforts, leading me to look for those ends. Few drops of water, desperately trying to find a small atoll where I can go and rest, looking for a floating log, looking at someone saying, my God, look at that fellow. He has a log. How nice it must be for him. How happy he must be. That is all. That is all I do. And then here comes one guru and an Upanishad which says, what water are you talking about? Where the water? And the first time the guru says that, even though I have Shraddha in the guru, I say, I don't know what you're talking about. I am in water. I can feel it. I'm struggling. If I don't struggle, I will sink. Please don't distract me from my struggles. Till that recognition comes, I will continue to struggle in the samsara. So he says that vidya, which will remove the avidya, tesham avidyadehe, avidya, etc. Avidya, etc. means what? Avidya leads to effort, leads to trying to seek an end. And in our example, trying to seek a few drops of water because I'm thirsty and around me what I have, I can't drink. Seeking one small piece of wood which to support my effort. That end for which I make an effort, because I thought I saw no atoll there, so I desperately swim towards that. Avidya, kama, karma. All of that leads me nowhere. Samsara bijasya, avidyadehe samsara bijasya. All those avidya and samsara bija, which is the cause for all my problems, all my non-existing problems, those problems, visharanath, himsanath, visharanath. That is the word he's explaining from the dhatu meaning, visharana. Dispersing, dispelling, disassembling, destroying. The very cause of samsara. Samsara bijasya visharanath. Visharanath, Acharya gives a meaning. Himsanath. Vinashanath. Destroying. Getting rid of. Visharanath. Iti anenartha yogena. That is the sambandha. The end result I want to is getting rid of all the things that I don't want, because there is avidya which is creating samsara. And to get rid of that, the very basis of all this, which is avidya, I have to get rid of that. So, vinashanath iti anena artha yogena, artha sambandhena, vidya upanishad iti uchyate. That vidya which will get rid of samsara, all the dukkha that I don't want, all those things I don't want, that which can get rid of all that, that samsara, by getting rid of its very basis, avidya. That vidya, Upanishad is that vidya. Vinashanath iti anena artha yogena vidya Upanishad ityuchyate. And I told you, all that is what Acharya said, but what Acharya has to be substantiated by a pramana. So you will always quote from various places in the Shruti, in the Smriti, in the Puranas, from wherever. Generally, he will quote from other Upanishads, because all Upanishads say the same thing. What he is now trying to explain is what every Upanishad says, including this particular Upanishad. He has not started the Upanishad yet. So he quotes from this Upanishad itself. What does it say? Tatacha vakshyati. Vakshyati will tell. This Upanishad will tell. What does it tell? Nichayatam mrityumukhat pramuchyate. You are freed from the jaws of death. Remember, this is a dialogue between Nachiketa and Yama. So he says, in the Upanishad itself, it says, knowing which, Nichayatam mrityumukhat pramuchyate. You are inured from Yama. It's only imagery. There is no mrityu. There is no Yama. But I can't start with that. Start with saying, you are freed. Yama can't touch you. Mrityumukhat pramuchyate. You cannot be touched. So he quotes us as evidence of what he's trying to convey. That in the Upanishad itself, it will say later, Nichayatvam mrityumukhat vimuchyate, pramuchyate. So he's covered Vishaya, he's covered Sambandha, Vishaya of this Grantha that he's writing, of the Upanishad itself, the Sambandha between what he's trying to achieve and what this is saying, for whom, what is it that you're trying to do? Get rid of samsara. So, the Anubandha Chatushtaya, without saying Anubandha Chatushtaya, he's shown us all four. What is the Vishaya? What is the end result you're seeking? Who is it meant for? And what is the Sambandha between this Grantha and the result that you say you're trying to get? When I first studied about Anubandha Chatushtaya, I was fascinated. We do a lot of things in the world. Anything you do, you can apply this four fourfold criteria. What are you trying to do, say or write? To whom? For what purpose? And how is what you're doing and what that going to be connected? It's important because that's the way you will structure your writing. For example, you structure the writing. If it is for children, you will structure it in a certain way. But if it is for the board of directors to get some funding for the project, you will structure it very differently. So the whole thing will change depending upon these four factors. And these four factors have been talked about in the Shastra how many tens of thousands of years ago. Today, if you go to a management training program, they will teach you the same thing. And they will give the credit to somebody sitting in America. It's already there. Absolutely logical. So he's covered two of these words, Visharanam and Avasadhanam. Avasadhanam is what? Unmoolanam. That Ajnanam is cut from the very root. It will never come back. Somebody asked, what happens if the person learning goes into a coma? It doesn't matter. This is not that kind of knowledge. There's nothing to forget. This is knowledge once gained, nothing else is there. Swamiji, it will go away from your memory. There is no memory, that is your knowledge. There is no buddhi, there is no memory. How can it go away? We will see all that. We'll talk about it in much greater detail later. But once you've gained this knowledge, you've gained it. That's it. That's the end of that. Yad gatva na nivartante tadhama paramam mama. That is the end from which there is no coming back. What is that end? That end is what he is describing here. Samsara bijasya nashanam. There is no coming back. There is no samsara. It's been removed, eliminated from its very source. There is no coming back to samsara. Now he takes up the other word, gamanam. We read this next line. Purvokta Visheshanan Mumukshun Va Gamayati iti Brahma Gamayatitvena Yogat